Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this Sunday's version of Speak Your Mind with Larry Coxon. And it's good to have all of you joining me this evening who have decided to. Now, I did not advertise the show tonight, and I won't be advertising the show next Sunday because it's sort of our little holiday time period. So, you guys that want to come and listen to the show, participate on the show, because tonight, this week and next week are going to be those shows where it's going to be the interactive type, where we're going to talk about the things you want to talk about. And I don't plan on being on too long, about 30 minutes each night. And then January the 4th is when we'll come back hard. We're going to come back and we're going to have special guests on that night. On January the 4th, we will have Senator Emmanuel Jones, and he will be running for the congressional 13th district seat, currently held by Congressman Scott, the absentee congressman. So you got to remember, Congressman Scott's not even voted in the last 6 elections. So poor guy. I don't even think he knows he's here. But that's when we've got all these old politicians that belong to both parties. They don't even know they're alive and breathing and won't vacate those seats. They just keep them. But yeah, I mean, so David Scott, he's not said he's going to run or not run, but we've got 12, 13 people that are decided they're going to challenge him, and they're part of all of them's candidacy is going to be that he's an inactive congressman and not voted in 6 elections, and they're going to say that he's not mentally and physically up to the task of serving, which I can believe that. I can. Let's go ahead and say hello to folks tonight, see who's joined us. And then if you guys want to put some things out there in the comment that you'd like to discuss tonight, we can more than accommodate you. So John Bowers, welcome to the show. Justin Kenny, welcome to the show. Cheryl Garcia, which is Ben and Cheryl, welcome to the show. Mary Boysworth, welcome to the show. James Corbett, welcome to the show. Marie Withers, Charlotte Gellert, Tom Harrison, Clayton Orwig. We have Cheryl Moten, Alex McDonald, and he's watching there with Danny. So it's Alex and Danny watching the show. And I think Alex, if I'm not mistaken, you and Danny put a pause on y'all's stuff till after the New Year's. And if you missed it just now, I told everybody I'm not going to promote the next 2 weeks. This week I didn't. Next week I'm not going to. I'm just going to come on, do a generic little show. What people want to talk about, they can throw in the chat. Probably do a abbreviated show. Try not to do any more than 30 minutes the next 2 weekends. And then when we come back on January the 4th, have Senator Emmanuel Jones, who's running for the 13th Congressional District, on the show. And I will be promoting that show because I really think people need to hear from people that are running for that seat, since we have an absentee congressman in David Scott. So again, thank you, everybody. And then Alex just said correct. He's off until the New Year's with their show, the TPS report. But I'm glad you guys have decided to join me, and I'm glad that we can have conversations about things that are going on in our community. So what's going on? And Corliss entered the room. Good evening, Corliss. Thanks for joining the show. I know you got a lot of stuff going on personally. Hope everything's working out for you, and such. But yeah, I'm excited about the year coming to an end. And if any watched the Board of Education meeting this past week, I gave a statement about my first year coming to an end, and what that meant for me to be able to serve you guys and to actually represent the school board, the district on the school board. And I'm just pleased with some of the things that I've been able to accomplish, and looking forward to more things that I'm going to attempt to accomplish. George Kelichek, welcome to the show, George. Thanks for for joining us. And you all guys, you do know that right after the first of the year, the first week of January, our legislative session is going to start in Atlanta. So our legislators will be back in action. They'll be back at work in Atlanta, and we'll see what they're going to do. Now, I do know you have a lot of people running for upper office. A couple of them have resigned their seats, but the majority of them have stayed put in their seats and are running for these higher offices. So there's going to be a pretty good bit of shakeup at the state capitol next year, because to run for these higher offices, they are not able to file and run for these Senate and House seats. So we're going to have a lot of turnover in the Georgia legislature this year. Charlotte, they decided they would move public comment to the end, and I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with public comment being at the end, because you sit there and something may occur that you decide you want to discuss during the meeting. Don't have a problem with public comment during at the end. I actually suggested they keep it at the end of the meeting, to be honest with you. So not a big deal. Just decided they wanted to mix it up and change the format a little bit, and I actually did not have an issue with it. I don't think it's that big a deal. That's what it is. But yeah, I am glad to have had the opportunity to serve you guys this year, and look forward to next year and the things that we can do. And Bukaruko, welcome to the show. And I think I mentioned George, welcome to the show. And George and I have talked about a couple of things this past week that's going on and such. And I think we were all excited about some things that might be happening and not happening as we're seeing what's going on in a good old Rockdale County. I actually did a little travel this weekend. I went on a little one-day trip to go see my daughter down towards Savannah. We went and took her and her family Christmas presents and spent Friday evening there, and then Saturday morning with them, and then came back yesterday up this way. So it was a good little visit. And then we've got, I think the rest of our family is going to come over to our house on Christmas Day. Beth and I will not be traveling anywhere else this year. So we're going to be here with people coming and seeing us. And that's good, right? That's a good thing when they come see you, and you don't have to go anywhere. So yeah, a lot of times I don't like going anywhere. I like sitting at home and letting people come to me. That's one of my things I like to do during the holidays. And I do always like to go to West Virginia for Thanksgiving. That's something that I've done for years, and I enjoy doing. Beth and I did that this past year. This past Thanksgiving, we went there, and this Christmas time we're going to be hanging here at the house, and anybody that wants to see us is going to come see us. That's how we're going to roll this time. So let me ask, what out there do you guys want to discuss? What do you want to talk about in good old Rockdale County and what's going on? You do know we've got our new city council folks. You've got a couple of people getting ready to take office in the city. It's the first of the year. You got a new mayor. You got a new council member. One new council member has already been sworn in to fill the unexpired term, and that's Sherry Washington. And Mr. Pachinko, it will be sworn in after the first with Mayor Osselbrook. So, the city of Conyers will be starting off the new year with their new people in place up at the town hall. And that'll be interesting as we go forward. And it'll be interesting to see what type of legislation that our delegation introduces that may impact Rockdale County. It's always exciting to see what kind of local legislation may be introduced. So been hearing some rumblings that we may get some legislation introduced regarding the Sewer and Water Authority. Um, I do know the gang got back together a little bit, and they had a little powwow, and I think that was a good thing that they existing members of the Water and Sewer Authority got together, had a conversation, and are going to uh, take some action of some sort. So that's a good thing, right? When we have a oversight committee, an oversight board, and you have the individuals who are responsible to appoint them, or the people who are having oversight. They're the ones that are supposed to be having the oversight over. You understand why they don't want to appoint those boards, right? Or those members, because they don't want oversight, but they still want the board because they want the benefits of having an authority. So I'm glad to see those guys got together, had a meeting, and are going to take some action to try to correct the course of the ship per se. And I think that will be a good thing for Rockdale County as we move forward. And and we do have elections next year. Local, we have a few things on the local ballot, and all of our state constitutional officers will be on the ballot next year. So we'll have our primary election in May, and then we will have our general election in November. And it will, I think, be a very interesting midterm election. Very interesting to see how that turns out, what goes on with it, and we'll see what happens with those midterms. And like I said, I'm very interested to see what happens with the constitutional officers here in. So Mary said some of my neighbors and myself report that our electric bills are almost double of what they were last year at this time. I do not think mine was. Actually have it right here in my hand. I'm actually going to open it up and look at it and see. Nope, mine is actually not double what it was last year. It's actually right in line with what it was last year. So mine is not. And actually, my bill was actually like $10 less this month than it was last month. My amount. So no, I am not experiencing that. I can just say, I got my Snap and Shoal bill right there and opened it up and looked at it. So yep, Snap and Shoals. I got it right there. That's like what I just what I just looked at. So mine was not twice as much. Yep, Justin's was Snap and Shoals too. So but no, that's what we're looking at, right? So next to Brewster's on Dogwood, the owner is building a commercial retail on their property next to Cracker Barrel. It hasn't been said what exactly it will be yet. Probably can find out about that. Let me make a couple of inquiries tomorrow, Cheryl, to see what that is they're building. I will make a couple of inquiries. Outdoor Christmas lights will increase an electric bill. I didn't put my lights up till like 2 weeks ago, but I did have my inflatables up since the new bill came out. Like I said, it's $10 less than it was, and I did have 3 inflatables for Christmas, and which I put them up right after Halloween, and I had 2 inflatables during Halloween, and I had 3 inflatables um, the that I have ran since a couple of days after Halloween that are because I skipped the Thanksgiving inflatables and went right to Christmas inflatables. It's kind of how I roll. We skipped the Thanksgiving. We did not put a turkey inflatable up, but I did put the other stuff up. So Mary says she's using just as much as last year. That's interesting. So uh, very interesting. So about the electric bill, uh, I will definitely continue to monitor that. Um, but I actually think mine was higher last year than it is this year, to be really frank about it. But we will continue to watch those electric bills. Bukaruko says this year we really didn't feel too much like Christmas, only a tree went up. So, you know, to me, it's always like Christmas this time of year. So, I mean, I like to get into it. Uh, so I enjoy this time of year. I enjoy just the atmosphere and the feel. So, you know, so James has said in the courthouse construction that what he sees totally of the construction, he's trying to figure out what there is 140 million in what I see. Um, you know, we see the outside, James, and then when he start the inside and then the infrastructure and everything. I mean, it's quite a lot when you look at how big those structures are, and a lot of people that are were surprised that the structures are as big as they are. I'm not as surprised that they're as big as they are because I sort of saw the mock-ups of them, and uh, you know, and it depends on how you build it, what you build it with, and what you're looking at, and then the conditions that you're building in. So, I mean, trust me, we're gonna get 140 million dollars worth of spending over there, whether we want it or not. And I agree, James. It's just really didn't need it. Uh, and Charlotte says my her electric increases when she uses a space heater to supplement. Um, so that does happen. When you use the space heater, it does cause your electric bill to increase somewhat. That is accurate. But yeah, but James, that you know, I think that was the issue. A lot of people. Yes, Alex, that's sort of what I didn't say. I didn't say it as eloquently as you, but don't forget that the cost per square foot was on par with a five-star hotel in Dubai, and that's sort of what we talked about. Is when you put the numbers out for something and you're not going to hold back on the cost and you're going to put the best of the best in there, you're like I said, they're going to spend $140,000. Uh, that's just what it is. And then Charlotte says, you know, the 140 million includes renovation to the old original courthouse also, and the furniture and the fixtures. So, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they front end $20 million on the splost for the renovation of the original courthouse? And that was what that expenditure was $20 million that was fronted from the splost. I think so. And James wants to know from Alex, can we get some of the Dubai's oil money? I don't think so, James. So, you know, Cheryl Molden says that she keeps her heat at 69 and uses a space heater to break the chill in the living room in the mornings and the evening. So, I mean, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Charlotte, Cheryl says it's a trade off, you know, and that's what, you know, we all do as far as to maintain our comfort level of what we want to do. But it's interesting, right? Very interesting out there with what's going on. But yeah, Alex, I like it with the way you did put that, right? Is like um, they spared no expense with our money on building this courthouse, right? Only the best. You know, when you're building a facility like that, and then square foot wise, it compares to a five-star hotel in Dubai. I mean that speaks volumes right there when you see They spared no expense with your money, right? No, they did not uh, hold back. They did not go cheap with your money, right? So they they went all out with your money. So, yeah, I keep saying your money, all right, because it is our money, and that's something we all have to acknowledge. It is our money. Uh, so Vukaruko says we got deep pockets here in Rockdale County. Oh yeah, Alex ran those numbers when it was the budget was first presented, and he and I did cover it on the show, and then that's true. And then George, new water and sewer rates January the 1st, 2026. Uh, Tom, George, I can't remember. Alex, do you remember how many years were we facing those automatic water and sewer rate increases? Because they did those several years ago, and they were, I think was it a 7-10 year increment that they had those automatically raising? So Clayton Norwig, let's go there because we can't close out the show right before Christmas without going to recycling and garbage. I agree with you 100%. Only the best for our courthouse, and now they don't want to fund the recycling via the general fund. Uh, so I'm going to put that one up there. That one's worthy of that. So, Alex, you believe it was 5 years? Uh, yep. And it was an increase every year. And then I'm sure they'll go back to the well as soon as those autos go out and do it again. Bill Campbell, thanks for. So Charlotte says the admin is the one that you can see in Millstead. I see both of them really well when I go to the Board of Education office for the meetings and other stuff that I go there for. When you're right there in the parking lot and you just look, you see both of those buildings very well from right there. Trust me, you see both of them very well from right there. Okay, John Powers, I've got to put your comment up, right? So the cartel has a long track record of malfeasance with public funds. So John had to put with that one up there. So I don't know, and like I said, I don't think the recycling center because anybody that follows recycling and knows anything about recycling, recycling does not make money. Does not make money. Um, Most of the time, when municipalities collect recycling and stuff, to be honest with you, it gets thrown away because it's not cost effective to recycle it. So, a recycling center has no chance of self funding itself. That's just not it's not in the cards. So interesting, but let you know, I have seen more mattresses, and I've seen a few fridges, and I've seen some stoves, and I've seen some different things on the side of the road here recently. Don't know if it has to do with anything with the changes that are going to occur because they've not occurred yet, but people may think they have, and instead of taking the things over there, they're just dropping them, right? So, but I have seen more debris uh, on the side of the road here in the last month or so um, since the announcement of the recycling stuff. So, yeah, what do you say about that? I mean, has anybody else noticed more debris being left here and there? It does offer more services besides dropping off recyclables. I do agree with that, John. Um, um, but from what I hear with people, that's their complaint is their recyclables and their 1 and 2 bags of garbage that people want to go and take off over there for $1 or $2. And I'll be real with you, they're not going to sustain it with people going and dropping off a couple 3 bags of garbage a month at the prices they charge either. Not going to happen. So I'm just going to be honest with you. I do not see that as a sustainable business model. What they're doing now. So Bill Campbell says, I'm going to put this up here because this is in an interesting thing. They put money in the current SPLOST to update the old courthouse, but they used that money for the new one. So if that's accurate, they violated the law because when you vote on those are things you vote on. But why would government officials not break the law? Because to make them do the right thing, you got to sue them. I was told that one time. Alex, exactly. Even if it was self-sustaining, we wouldn't see a penny back. Cordless, maybe people cutting trash service to pay other bills. So they, replying to Charlotte Gellert in talking with the recycling center, it's a good bit of the recycled material has to be trashed as people put the wrong stuff in with the different things. If it is not sustainable, then the service should cease. Private vendors are providing this service to most residents anyhow. This is the way I see this, right? Some things you're just going to have to subsidize and pay for. That's the way I see it. And I see a county landfill or a county a garbage dump as something that's going to be subsidized. And if it's used effectively and it helps keep the county clean, it's actually something I don't mind my tax dollars going to. And that's my personal opinion, right? So we're going to pay taxes. And if I have a preference to where I would like to see my tax dollars spent, and if it's an effort to keep the county clean and sustainable, then that's a preference of mine. I don't mind seeing my tax dollars spent on a landfill or a garbage dump or something like that. So that's that's the way I look at it. I don't see it that big of a deal. I mean, it's I think it's something that's not as expensive as some of the crazy things that they do and do spend a lot of money on. And it's something, one of the cheaper things we can probably afford to do versus some of the things we can't afford to do that we do. So that's just my opinion. That's what I think. So we'll see. Well, guys, look at it. It's 8:31 and we got through here with everybody chiming in and doing these things, and great little abbreviated show. Nice little audience on here tonight. Sure, we had some people come on from government not happy that we talked about some government things, but that's the way it rolls, right? When you've got these kind of shows and these podcasts and these kind of things, we're going to talk about local government things, and it's probably going to upset some people sometimes, right? So is what it is, right? So first of all, thank you guys for joining me tonight. Thank you for making the dialogue interactive and the show flowing. Think about what you want to talk about next week. We'll come on next week with our half-hour abbreviated show also. And then January the 4th, we will come back with a full-hour show, which I will promote. I'm going to start promoting that probably next week because I want a good audience to tune in to hear Senator Emanuel Jones discussing his run for Congress. Folks, that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining me, and may you all have a very merry